Julian, it's great to see you again, my friend.
And
I
you.
want to share, or no, I want you to share about complex projects that you've worked on. I think you've got some interesting stories to share with us.
Okay. Yeah, no, fine. I think one of the most complex projects that we ever worked on was a project called Pitt Cue, which is in Devonshire Square in London, quite near Liverpool Street Station. It's located. Its location was in what was the old East India Company's older warehouses.
Okay.
So Grade 2 listed. Very sort of strict, if you like, requirements from the local area in terms of that listing and everything else. But also, it was quite complex in terms of the structure and what we wanted to do. What we was effectively putting in was we put in Pitt Cue as a restaurant, very much a meat-based restaurant. They have their own farm down in Dorset or Devon, that way anyway, to help sort of bring the produce through. And we put £60,000 worth of barbecue in as the main cooked sauce. Everything was flame grilled.
Yeah.
With that, we had a brewery going in as well. They were brewing their own beer.
Yeah.
On a mezzanine structure which was located directly behind the main bar.
Okay, you've got my attention.
So what we've got is a nice historic warehouse building. Well, two warehouses, if you like. And the associated space that went with it. Now, with that, quite complex alterations in terms of the knocking through into the kitchen space from the main restaurant space. There'd been ground beams and everything else put actually sort of in at ground level itself, above the ground level. And to form actual level access through, we had to sort of take those away and actually do a lot of structural alterations and almost. Well, we effectively hung the building from the ground floor level up from the first floor structure that was above it. That took a lot of working out. We were employed as PM and QS on the project. And it's possibly one of my favourite projects overall in the product that we actually got at the end. Not only the sort of flame grilled cooking, which then meant we had water wash canopies and that sort of thing on the main cook line, but also just the routing for the HVAC in what we were doing, being compliant with the historic nature of the building as well. So there was a lot of sort of intricacies and complexities, if you like, in what we were doing with that construction. I think it was a great result at the end. In what we actually provided, it traded very well for the first couple of years, but unfortunately never came through COVID. So it was a shame. It was a loss, but at the same time, a great project to have worked on and provided.
So, do you think it was? I suppose because the hospitality industry got hit so hard with COVID, and was at a time when it was yes you can go out, no you can't go out, yes you can go out, no you can't go out, and then they did this eat out to, I can't remember what the phrase was now, but you were getting like, it was almost like buy one get one free for your lunch, and I don't know because I'm not the expert in that arena as to whether or not that was a good thing or bad thing for hospitality. Maybe you could share some light, especially with that project going on there, because it sounds such a shame.
Well, I think what you've got to appreciate and understand is with COVID, it did very much hit the hospitality industry hard. What it has actually done is effectively post that in London still is 3-day working week in an office effectively. So a lot of people working from home on a Monday and a Friday. It's changed that whole dynamic for the City of London and lunchtime eating and everything else. What used to be, if you like, a Friday trade is now probably on a Thursday.
Wow.
If you're looking at what used to be quite a buoyant sort of scene building up through the week, it is effectively very sort of concise now in 2 or 3 days worth of actual trading, if you like. And that's changed that whole dynamic in that sort of central London city location, which was based on local bankers, insurance companies and traders effectively eating in that area.
Do you know what? You gave me back so many memories there about when I've come down to London and I used to always plan my trips Thursday, Friday because it was nice, the atmosphere. I mean, I remember going to I took my me and my daughter, we had an appointment at Great Ormond Street, and just off Gray's Inn Road there was some nice pubs and everyone was out in the street and laughing and joking and having a drink, and then there's restaurants and a bite to eat, and we used to we would try and plan the hospital appointments towards the end of the week so we could enjoy that, and then maybe have a stay over on a Friday night and what have you. And it's a shame that COVID has had such an impact on that and the hospitality industry.
Yeah. I some of the people I work with now on their Friday lunchtime covers are very, very low.
Really,
very low, and it's a consequence of that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday worker in the office.
Okay, so going back to the Pitt Cue, what do you think the impact was there, and what could be done differently in the future, or was it just the fact that it was an anomaly?
I think it's an anomaly. Pitt Cue was very much a sort of dedicated, if you like, experience.
Yeah.
Flame grilled lamb's heart or pork crackling and things like this. all done over that barbecue. It was quite different, and I think that market, if you like, just wasn't there for a while.
Right.
It's also very high rents in that area.
Yeah.
And you've got the whole hospitality industry at the moment is suffering. You've got electric at three times probably what it was like this time last year or the year before, certainly. Yeah. You've got staff costs going up, which is reasonable given everything else that's going on. The staff need more money.
Yeah.
Product is going up in terms of cost of raw materials. Yeah. Some of which is due to transport, some of which is just basically trying to get hold of stuff. And then you've got your rents going up, and all of the time your interest rate has gone up. So it's a difficult time, and I really do sympathise with a lot of our clients in what they're trying to do at the moment.
You've almost left me lost for words. It's just like, that's kind of the realization. I think maybe that's like the mic drop moment, isn't it? That's the realization for hospitality. So when you've got a complex environment, like you say, which is listed, which is bringing something new and unique, whilst on paper or maybe even in practice it's an amazing thing to have and the experience, but when you have 18 months, 2 years where we can't go out, and we can't eat out, and it's just like, what does that type of business do? Yeah. What does that type of business do?
It's very difficult, and I sympathise, as I say, with a lot of our clients and our sector of work at this time. Trying to get hold of staff in some respects is very difficult, and there's a big campaign at the moment with Hospitality Rising.
I was just thinking about that.
Let's give an acknowledgement to that.
Yeah.
Let's poke that out there and sort of congratulate Mark and the rest of the team out there that are actually pushing that forward, because that's a real good cause.
Absolutely. I suppose really that's a great place to wrap this up on, is the fact that you've been supporting Hospitality Rising now for quite some time. I've been seeing it through your socials and what have you. So what is your advice to people in the hospitality industry right now, or wanting to get into it?
Right now that we want to get into it?
Yeah.
If you want to get into it, I think there's opportunity out there at the moment.
Yeah.
Consider your sites that you're entering into, considering what your product is, what your brand is all going to be about. Consider that at the moment. There is some deals to be done in terms of buildings and sites. Take on board a site finder, or take on board some consultants that can help you. We can help you. But there's others out there in helping you find sites. There's others out there in terms of your design. Listen to what they say, use their experience, and by all means contact me. Best ways by email. It's julian@jca-ltd.co.uk, and I'd love to have a conversation with you and see if we can help you come through, and we can empathise with you. We can actually guide you to make some decisions that will be for your benefit, using our hindsight and our knowledge.
Awesome. Julian, thank you ever so much. I think it's a really, really important message that you've just got out there.